Charlie, welcome to Fan Cam after tonight's game, Spurs v Bournemouth. What did you think?
What a fucking shambles. It was disastrous, mate. I've never been so bored in my life.
So, what's happened to our Spurs? Where's it all gone wrong? Why? Let's look at tonight first. What was wrong?
Well, for a start, there's just no, it doesn't seem like there's any energy in the team for a start. So, for instance, in the second half, there was one example. I think Kane closed them down from the front. He had no support, and just him alone managed to get the ball off of Bournemouth because they are shit at the back. There's no question they're not good enough to play out from the back. So if we press as a team, then we're going to win the ball high up the pitch, and because we can't create anything when teams are behind the ball, so we need to win the ball higher up the pitch. And then, but we're sitting there like we're playing fucking Liverpool, just egging them on. But we're not going to hit them on the counter because we don't have the quality to. Or when they've got players behind the ball, we can't break them down.
Well, that's the thing, because you'd think, Son and Mora are pretty quick. And I know we have Bergwijn out there as well. But if you're going to play counter-attacking football, surely you'd want either Son or Mora, at least one of them on the pitch with Bergwijn, so that you can break quickly.
Yeah, the Miller's not a donkey though, is he? But then you've got Lucas, even if he's on, he's got pace, but you don't know what he's doing with the ball, does he? And to be fair, I don't see this Son fascination. Yeah, he had a couple good seasons a few years back, but this year, he's been, honestly, I don't think he's performed very well. It doesn't seem to work as hard as he used to. He used to just be... He used to press, he used to close down, he wanted to be there. But now he just looks like he's got a bit too big for his boots, and he's kind of like got a bit comfortable with his position a bit. Because like his performances this year, they're like either he can put in like 9 out of 10 performances, and he has got the quality there. But normally it's like a 4 out of 10 at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. So that's what's wrong. At the minute, we're lacking energy and not performing. How do we fix it? Because we had Poch and the performances declined. And then we brought in Jose and the performances ain't got any better. Arguably, the performances as a team are worse. So how do we fix it?
Well, I think when you look at it, for me, look, I think a lot of it is down to one. I think a lot of it's down to the players. Like, yeah, you could blame Mourinho for a lot of it, boring football. But the last year under Poch was the same. So I think that's where you need to look at the players. So I think a lot of the players are kind of happy with what they've achieved. And now they just seem to be quite comfortable in everything. And it doesn't help when you've got the likes of your two best centre-backs have passed it now. And it's all kind of happened at the same time. You lost Dembele the other year. You've lost... your two fullbacks as well.
Rose and Walker,
and even Trippier when we lost him as well.
Eriksen.
So, and the players we have replacing them just aren't good enough. Like if you went Walker, Aurier, no comparison. If you're going Ben Davis, Danny Rose, no argument there. Toby and Vertonghen at the back together with Sanchez and Dyer, if you're going to play those two, that's a massive downgrade. I've never been a massive Winks fan. He works hard, but he does lack quality. And the same with Sissoko. When you're replacing him with a Dembele, and when I think at the time we had like a Wanyama, for example. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of... We need to invest. That's where the problem's gone wrong. We haven't invested in the team. So...
You can't say we haven't invested at all. I mean, and Ndombele was 70 mil, wasn't he? 65 mil, or our most expensive ever signing. Yeah, we just made Lo Celso permanent. We've got Gedson on loan. So there are players coming in. Bergwijn wasn't cheap. So they have invested, but are we investing in the right areas?
Well, we did need a midfield player, and I think Ndombele's been a massive disappointment. Lo Celso's class. I do like him. And I think Bergwijn would be a good player, but I think he's going to take a bit of a time, and it's hard to come into a team that isn't performing. But then you've got... I think we need to sort out the back first. That needs to be sorted out. without a shadow of a doubt.
But we did
Because
concede tonight. We
what's
just
that?
didn't score. We didn't
We
concede.
played Bournemouth.
We just
We
didn't
played
score.
Bournemouth. Me and you could play at the back, and we shouldn't concede.
Yes, I get
Like,
that.
seriously,
But
we can.
the thing is,
Okay, last
they
two
don't
games,
score
clean sheets.
and they concede loads. Hold on, but they don't score and they concede loads. So tonight the problem was forward, not at the back.
Who? Bournemouth that concede loads
Bournemouth
but score
concede loads
goals.
of goals and don't score enough. Right?
They've not. They've barely scored all season.
Yes, my
Or
point. So we got a clean sheet. That's not the problem. Our problem is we haven't scored past their defence. Their defence is one of the worst in the league.
okay, in that, no, I'm not going to disagree with that. First of all, though, our defence sucks. I don't care. We kept a clean sheet against Bournemouth and Everton. They are two of the worst performances from another team I've ever seen in my life. They are that. Those two games were generally quality-wise, both teams, shambolic. Going forward, it's just so slow, so dismantled. If you put a team, if someone's going to come and put a defence in and go, right, try and break us down, we ain't. There's no quality there. There's no individual flair. There's not. They're not playing as a team. They're getting the ball, and it's like, right, where's my next ball? It's not right. Boom, control, ping it. It's touch, touch, touch. Now I'll roll it to you. Great. What does he do? Nothing on. Touch, touch. Roll it back or roll it sideways. There's no urgency.
So how do we fix that?
I don't get paid 300 grand a week for that. I mean, like, give me 300 grand a week. I'm sure I can come up with something better than what we're doing at the moment. But even if, like, we try and play a bit more directive, we can't pass the freaking ball around. We need to do, because I don't know. I personally think the way around it is, like I said before, we have to press higher up the pitch instead of sitting back and go, right, we'll win the ball deep and either counter, which doesn't work because I don't think we have the quality for that. Or, so for me, press high, bit of higher line, and then Sanchez plays at the back so he can cover you with a bit of pace. Because let's be fair, Toby and Vertonghen, they're in Zimmer frames almost now. So
The milk float reversing, isn't they?
yeah, literally. So for me, we just need to press higher up the pitch and do it as a team. Like I said, Kane was pressing on his own and there was like no support around him. So press up higher the pitch and then we haven't got to break them down because we're already past their midfield. So it's like three of your players up against their defence.
All right. So in short, we can't defend very well and we're not creating anything. Does this mean that Potts was right and we need a massive overhaul?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It was coming.
So
I said it 2 years ago. It was coming as well. It was there. It was obvious.
So all right then. Out of the current 17, 18 player, I know there's a squad of
good question.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But out of current 17, 18, who would you keep and who would you get rid of?
Right. Keep Kane. Keep Lo Celso. Outside of that, I generally wouldn't care who left. Obviously, you're not going to get rid of them all. But if someone said Lucas, the Mella, I'll keep Bergwijn. I think he'd be a good player. Obviously, you've got Tanganga as well. He's injured at the moment.
Yeah. Let's not include too many of the youngsters. Tanganga being one of them, Sessegnon being another. And then let's take out anyone that's arrived this season. So Bergwijn, Lo Celso, and Gedson, because can't really judge them yet. But outside of that, you're saying Kane is the only one there that you're like, right, he's not being sold. Anyone else, Ali, Mora, Son, Lamela, Sissoko, Winks, Dyer, Sanchez, Toby,
very replaceable.
Lloris.
Do you know what? You know, I've never been a massive Lloris fan over the last couple of years, but he has probably been our best player since coming back from lockdown.
Yeah, go along with that. He says a lot. He's your best player.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible, especially when you're playing teams like Bournemouth. So, yeah, so fair play to him. He's done well since we've been back. But so that's not a priority because you're probably not going to get better than what he is. But I think everywhere else is improvable.
Who would you like to see come in to improve those areas? One or two names.
This is a different question. Who you'd like to come in and who's realistically going to come in on a budget is another thing.
Who realistically can we get that's going to improve that squad in the next window? We're not going to go out and sign 10 players, right? We're going to sign 2 or 3 max players. So what 2 or 3 signings can we realistically get that improve that squad?
I think focus areas got to be, in that case, would have to be the back areas. I think what we got. So looking at defence, we need a couple centre backs. I think that's pretty easy to see, and we need a right back because I think Ori is all right as a backup, but he's not someone you realistically, if you want to go places.
You're waiting for that next mistake. It reminds me of when you had David James in goal. David James was a good goalkeeper, but you're just waiting for the next error.
Exactly. It's even the same with Sissoko. He can have a worldie of a game, but you're still like, if you see him closing someone down in the box, you're a bit like,
I think Sissoko's our most consistent player, though, over the last 2 seasons. This season and last season, you're getting bread and butter every time with him.
You do, but this is where I think, like, say, for instance, Everton, he runs his socks off, he works hard, he wins the ball, he does his job. But against Everton, for example, he was finding himself in too many attacking areas. And it's like, shit, what do I do? And I would prefer if we need someone like that, but that's better on the ball.
Well, wasn't that on Ndombele?
It was supposed to be, wasn't it? The guy don't seem to be able to run. It looks like he shot himself.
Fair enough. All right. So last question. Champions League's obviously gone for next season. We're not going to get 5th if City don't get Europe. They get their ban. Do we want Europa League, or would you prefer to see a bit more of a reshuffle and a rebuild and just domestic football and really build well and then go on back into Europe for the following year?
I was actually having this conversation earlier with my old man, and I think that the calibre of player that we're looking at that we'll probably bring in, whether we're in Europe or not, will make no difference whether they're going to come to us, because we're not going for that next calibre of player that's going to push us to say, what you'd say, Champions League player already. We're looking for someone that we can go, right, you're going to come in and kind of improve our team. Like, for instance, a Southampton player. What's his name? Holberg or something? Yeah. Whether we're in Europe, he's going to come to us, whatever, if we actually want him. That's going to happen. So, personally, people are going to disagree with me. It'd be great to be in Europe, but I think as a team, it'd probably be better not to be in Europe. And then we can just focus on the league. Then you haven't got to worry about having a big squad. You can just focus on 15 players. And I think that'll be a lot better for us to go, right, just focusing on the league games. Keep your team fit throughout. You've seen it through the past where your Leicesters or your Chelseas haven't had Europe for that season, and it's really helped them. So that could help us get back into. Well, I'm not going to say Champions League because I think we're way off of that with the improvements that some of the other teams are making.
Charlie, thank you for your time. Been a pleasure. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me, Jim. I'll catch you later on, mate.
Take care, pal.
Ready, 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 ready.